important is you after me.
The people who are killing the Rohingya Muslims, are they Buddhists?
When I'm beginner, when I came here, everyone shout, and they say, "Oh, it's not God."
Can I ask you a question?
What is the love? What is the peace? You see the love, you see the peace here.
Brother, ask you very
The
much.
Rohingya Muslims, hundreds and thousands of them, are killed by millions.
I have by experience.
Are they Buddhists who are killing the Rohingya Muslims? Driving away from their homes, burning them alive, burning their homes alive.
Right.
Are these Buddhists?
In Myanmar,
They are Buddhists. Where is the compassion? Where is the love? Where is the tolerance? It's only in books, is it? Where is it in practice?
It's minority.
Fine, maybe a minority, but the whole government is behind them.
I know that.
So it's not just minority backed by the government. Okay. I'm not going to judge Buddhism by the actions of people. What did Buddha actually preach? He had 3 essential teachings. Okay? The whole world is in misery, suffering, called dukkha. The reason of this suffering...
Buddha don't say you have to do that, you have to do that, you have to do that.
Let me tell you the essential teaching of Buddha.
He say, Buddha say, I'm not in the right way. Try this, try it, and you will experience.
Buddha explains the suffering in this world is real. The reason why it's happening this is because of people's desires, trishna. People's trishna, desires.
Desire, yeah, exactly.
And the way to solve this problem is to get rid of your desires and achieve a state of nirvana. Yep. This is the teaching of Buddha. Buddha doesn't talk about whether God exists or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Who created this world or not.
Buddha is not God.
Yes, yeah. But here is where this teaching is limited in its scope.
Possibly.
Because we need to know why we are here and where did we come from and where we're going, who put us here. Buddha is assuming automatically we are already here. Don't need to know who put us here. And we are in a big mess. And he says, to get out of this mess, you have to be selfless. Don't be selfish. And so on, right? But we're saying that is a very limited scope of teaching of this reality. We need to know the whole picture. Where did this universe come from? Was it always there? Or did someone create it? Islam gives us a clear picture on this, clear teaching and guidance that this universe at one point didn't exist. Allah, this is the name of God. Allah created this universe and created us for a reason. He did not create this universe as utopia, as paradise, as Jannah, as heaven, where there is no problems. He created this life for a test, so that we can be sure whether we deserve to go to a place which is heaven. So there is another place in the second life called the afterlife. This life, we will all die. Every single one of us will taste death. Every one of us. But within the lifetime that we have to fulfill our obligation, our purpose in life. If we do this, then the grace of God, paradise, tranquility, happiness, joy, bliss, comfort awaits us. If we don't fulfill our purpose and we become arrogant and stubborn, then those who are like this, they will go to a place of misery, suffering, torture, punishment, unhappiness in the afterlife. And in the afterlife, there is no death. It is a life forever. Whether life of happiness, of life of punishment. We have to choose which one we want to go to. Of course, you and I, we don't want to go to a place of punishment forever and ever. We want to go to a place of happiness and comfort and tranquility. That place we can go by fulfilling the purpose we are created for. Our purpose of creation is to worship God alone and none but God. Worship is not a term which means you only do certain rituals. Worship is everything that you do in your life that God is pleased with, and you do that in accordance with what He wishes you to do. So if you smile to your brother, that becomes charity, and charity is worship. If you remove an obstacle from the road, a thorn, a rock, anything that's going to harm others, that becomes charity, that becomes worship. Do you see how worship is not just going to a mosque and only fasting and praying and going to Hajj and giving zakat? Worship encompasses all our lives affairs. That's okay, all of it. Yeah, how we interact with other people.
For you, what is your priority? Is God or is your goal in daily life?
No, our priority is fulfilling our life in accordance with how God is pleased with. So there are rights of God, there are rights of human, there are rights of the environment, there are rights of animals, there are rights of creation. We have to.
What's your priority? Is God or is your, for example?
Okay, think about it. I will answer this question straight.
I asked you a question because one of my best friends has living in Paris from Morocco. He looks like Muslim, you know, and his priority is Allah. When I speak with him, he speaks only his Allah. He don't speak about his son, his wife. You know, he left in 3 years to Morocco to learn the Quran, to be teacher. No, he gave up his wife and his son. He always is him, but his wife and son stay in Paris, and in him go for 3 years in Morocco. How do I understand? What is the love? What is the love? You know.
Sure.
That's why I say
in Islam. Of course, the priority is.
Supposed to be Islam. You have human being.
Okay.
You know?
In our belief, of course, the priority is the rights of God first. But it doesn't mean you forget and neglect the rights of others.
Yeah, exactly.
And rights of, for example, our Prophet ﷺ said, our own body has a right over us. Our own body has a right over us. That we need to look after it. We shouldn't commit suicide. We shouldn't harm our body. We should eat food which is healthy and nourishing and pure. We shouldn't really damage ourselves. Yep. Our wives or our spouse or our husbands have right over us. Yep. So our spouse have right over each other. We cannot neglect them and just go somewhere and then that's it. You don't look after them, you don't talk to them, you don't care for them, you don't even talk to them. No, they have a right over you and you have a right over them. Our children have a right over us and we have a right over them. Likewise, the animals have rights. We cannot neglect them. The environment have rights. We cannot destroy our environment, pollute our environment. Do you understand that? But if you consider the prioritization of this, imagine an individual, think about 1 second, right? On this issue. Someone does everything. They look after themselves, look after their spouse, their husband, their wife, their children, their parents, the environment, the animals, but don't worship God. Do you think that individual should be rewarded by God in the hereafter? The one who said the reason why that person is created is to worship God, and that person neglects worshiping God but gives everything else. You will say that doesn't sound right. That the one, it's like this. If you work for a company, sorry to use this mundane example from everyday life. If you work for a company or an employer, wherever you work, right? At the end of the day, do you expect the wages, your salary, to be paid by someone else or your employer? Your employer. So why would they expect the reward to be given by God when they did not worship God, did not listen to God, did not obey God? Because all that God wanted, this worship, wasn't just, as I said, prayer and fast and zakat. Everything that you do in accordance with God's wishes, His approvals through the Prophet and his messengers, because the Prophet and messenger are sent to tell the people the will of God. So when you follow the will of God, obey the will of God as described by the prophets and messengers, you are following God, you are worshipping God. So when the prophet says, be just, and God says, of course, be just, be kind, be nice, be a witness standing firm in justice, speak the truth, even if it goes against you and your friend, your family, your kith and kin. You see how this is about justice? If you did that, you are worshipping God. If you are just, if you do justice, implement justice, encourage others to do justice, you are worshipping God. So worshipping God, as you can see, it's not something that it's just some rituals. So yes, my friend, you have to prioritize the right of God foremost, and then the rest. If you don't prioritize the right of God to everything else, you shouldn't expect the reward. Then what's going to happen to you in the hereafter? The one who created you, the one who guided you, the one who nourished you, the one who sustained you, is the one who's going to judge you on your belief and your actions in the hereafter. So if you want to know your abode, your home in the hereafter, which one it's going to be? The home in paradise, in Jannah, in heaven, in the garden, or a home in hellfire, in fire. You need to know who's going to give that home to you. The one who created you, your God. So you have to give him his right. You should not associate a partner with him. That's the right of God, that you worship him alone. Most people, whether they're atheists or theists, those believe or don't believe, somehow they revere something, give this reverence to someone. Either it's to God or to their country, their leader, a football star, a superstar, someone from cinema, someone they revere, right? Something with the other. It's inbuilt within you to show this reverence, respect, this kind of feeling, which is the actual utmost respect and reverence and servitude and gratitude, is worship. So when we worship God, we are grateful to God. We are thankful to God. Yeah? We are showing our gratitude and our thankfulness, thanks to God. That's worship.
How to explain me, one of my best friends, when I was married in the past, he say hello, he kissed my ex-wife, and one day he switched. One day he see you again, he didn't say hello. And I asked why. He say, because I'm Muslim, I can't say anything, I can't kiss today.
If I've understood you correctly, so you have a brother who has an ex-wife. No, you have a friend who has an ex-wife.
No, me, I have ex-wife.
You have ex-wife.
One of my best friends is Muslim.
Okay.
Now, in the past, 10 years ago, when he say hello, he made a kiss. And one day he switched. He didn't kiss. He just say with the hand. And I say why? Because for me it was a lack of respect. And he say, I can't say anything because I'm Muslim.
Okay.
And I have another French girl. It's a French with a white skin, with a blue eyes. She switched. She converted in Islam, and she wear, what is the name?
The hijab.
Yeah, the hijab. She wear in Paris. Why she's strolling in the street, on the bus. The French, white, and the Muslim in his whole hair in the street.
He hurt.
Yeah, the Muslim and the no-Muslim in his whole hair. Say, why do you switch? Have a blue eyes. Why you are Muslim today? And one day she decided to remove because she suffered a lot for 3-4 years. And when she removed, she was happy and in peace. And I told myself why.
She was basically, when she removed it, that particular environment, she did not feel threat anymore. So when you feel threatened, for example, if somebody puts a gun on your head and say, dance like a monkey, you might dance like a monkey because you are threatened, right? Your life is in danger. If your life is not in danger, you don't do that. So Muslims are commanded, man and woman, to dress modestly. We have a dress code. Women have a specific dress code, men have a specific dress code. Woman has some extra dress code because of the way she is, beautiful, right? So she was told by God.
Because of the dress, she suffers every day. She receives every day insult.
The amount of suffering she is suffering may be in a country who do not understand and appreciate this. They think that
why God didn't help her, you know?
Yeah, the person should have helped her. People should have helped her. Whether you're a Muslim or non-Muslim, when you see someone oppressed, you should be helping. For example, if I see a woman oppressed,
let me ask you.
I don't have to ask the question first, is she a Muslim or non-Muslim, to help her. If I'm able to help, I should help. Would you not agree? If you are able to help, you should help. You should not ask, oh, is she a Buddhist follower? Is she a Filipino? Or is she a Muslim? Or is she a Chinese? These shouldn't come into play. She's a human being. Yeah? Being oppressed, being harassed, about to be raped, whatever. We should be helping regardless of who she is, in terms of her race, color, in terms of her language, in terms of her richness, in terms of her religion. We should help. Do you agree? So as Muslims, God has given us certain codes of life, how we interact in society, how we go about in society. We shouldn't go about in society naked, for example. Even this society, people wear clothes. Why? In summer, why do you wear clothes? It's so hot. But people still wear clothes, because clothes is also something that helps cover our modesty. Some people cover so little, and some people cover adequately, sufficiently in terms of modesty. In the early 1900 in England, do you know how women used to dress? English women in this country. If you saw them, you'd think they are Muslims wearing hijab. That was the sign of modesty then. But of course, the cultural understanding of the society has changed, where they want to be free and liberal. This liberal mindset have made them to go away from a full dress, to remove her dress up to here, to the ankle, to the knees, to the thighs, and now almost naked. Like us, you can almost see,
I have to go.
Yeah. So what we're saying is, of course, we have to go. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, me too.
The question that you asked, just to summarize this question, if I can remember, about this Muslims pressure. We consider the precious. We consider women precious. They should be treated like queens, right? That's how precious they should be. So Muslim husbands should treat their wives like that. You should not expect Muslim husbands to be treating their wife like a commodity, or their sisters as an object to sell items, where she dresses totally immodestly, right? Showing up herself, showing the body, for example. So she doesn't go and mingle with people, give hugs and kisses and so on and so forth. No, because this kind of interaction is limited to husband and wife. Intimacy. Imagine a culture, where the first thing that you do, they have a French kiss. You say, what's going on? That's my girlfriend, that's my wife. You don't like it. Yeah? So, in Islam, the interaction that we have between husband and woman is intimate relationship in homes, in their privacy. In public, they shouldn't be interacting with others where you give them a hug and a kiss and so on. Physical intimacy is not for other people.
I know because
do you understand that?
Yeah, I'm not agree, but I accept my friends because my friend is the same. But I don't understand. I not accept, but he's my best friend, so I accept him. Because I love him. But for me, it's weird.
Yeah, because you're brought up in a culture where it is normal, like doing these things. If you have in a culture where men and women don't even shake hands, and you shake their hands, they'll have a shock, like what's going on? This is what happened with Muslim women when doctors and people from work, they start saying, shake their hands. They're not ready for this. It's not something within their teaching, within their normal culture. Islam modifies their culture and says, look, this kind of physical touch shouldn't be between man and woman unless you are, husband and wife, or it's your, father and daughter. Like, they can hug and, they can shake hands. Mother, children, they can kiss on the forehead or on the cheek. This is what we're talking about, love, but not to strangers where you have this kind of physical intimacy. What happens when you hug a woman who's not related to you? Imagine now the most beautiful woman that's in your mind, right? And you see her, and you hug her. No feeling whatsoever? Of course you generate feelings. Chemistry goes in your mind, right? As a man, you'll feel that way. Islam says no. This kind of relationship, physical touch, is not allowed. That's why your friends are not allowing that to happen. Okay? My friend, nice talking to you. Okay? Take care, and we'll talk again another time, maybe one time, and we'll talk about Islam in more detail. Okay?
Brothers and sisters, Allahu Akbar. Thanks to your tremendous support, we have, Alhamdulillah, paid the final installment for this huge masjid property, and now we need your support to convert this 2,700 square meters building into the most amazing Islamic center in the country of Norway, inshallah.
But bro, this does not look like a masjid. It looks like a wedding hall.
And that's exactly what this is. Brothers and sisters, we need your support to reconstruct this wedding hall into a masjid and community center so we can have our prayer hall for us to establish salah 5 times a day, an indoor playground for the kids to nurture love for the house of Allah, a conference hall for lectures and reminders about Islam.
We need classrooms for education, a library to study, a gym for exercise, and a soup kitchen to help the poor and needy.
If you support us, even with a small sadaqah, you will inshallah harvest a reward for all of these facilities and the khair that they generate throughout the years, all the way until the day we meet Allah.
The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever builds a masjid for the sake of Allah, Allah will build for him a similar house in Jannah. So what are you waiting for? Click the button to donate and share the video for extra rewards.